We bought 30 acres in Tennessee to chase the millennial NPC dream of homesteading. Now we're building our own house because it's the best way we can afford the kind of place that we want. Before moving onto the land in our new RV, we knocked out most of the infrastructure, then had the slab foundation poured. After about a month, we started framing with a small crew of family and friends. Now, in week 2, it's just me, Peter, and my dad, Harry, who's staying in his literally 70-year-old tent that he loves. This week, we tackled some sheathing, rim joists, a staircase, floor joists, and a bit of second floor decking. Stick around to the end to see what took out our drone. I mentioned in the first video, we didn't put the sheathing on before raising the walls in order to make them lighter to lift, although the weight probably wouldn't have been an issue in the end, and because we didn't want them to catch the wind, again, an abundance of caution since we were doing it all by hand. With the passive solar design, we're aiming to make our house super efficient for lower heating and cooling costs by absorbing the sun into the slab in the winter and blocking any sun from shining in the summer. But to help maintain the inside temperature, we went with ZIP sheathing that includes an inch of foam. The foam isn't just about extra insulation, it also forms a thermal barrier so we don't get thermal bridging. When you have OSB wooden sheathing directly touching the studs, heat and cold from the outside transfer more easily into the framing. The foam breaks that path, making it less resource intensive to maintain the temperature you want inside. ZIP sheathing also includes a built-in weather-resistant barrier, this green paint. Later, we'll come back and zip tape all the seams. This also helps keep the house very airtight compared to looser traditional wraps like Tyvek. Once again, the west wall came in to make our lives a little easier. There are no windows on the west wall in accordance with our passive solar design. We don't want the hot afternoon sun shining inside in the summer as the sun gets lower in the sky. Oh, the second one.
Two of them. I don't even fucking care over here.
These are the rim joists that go around the perimeter of the floor joists. With all the terrible wood Home Depot has the audacity to pawn off on suckers like me, the biggest task was straightening these out as we nailed them down. The top looks good. I can't really see the bottom.
I'm gonna nail it up top though, so
Oh.
I don't want your hand there.
Oh, alright. Ready? Yeah.
Good?
Yep. More?
Yeah, like an eighth.
With a hammer or?
That's whatever it takes to make it move an eighth.
In order to get the spans we wanted for an open floor plan, we had to use some stronger engineered beams, laminated veneer lumber or LVLs, in a few key spots. One replaces a standard floor joist across a 12-foot span, and it will carry 20-foot joists perpendicular to it. Another LVL sits directly above this large window to support the load coming from the gap in the stairs where there's no continuous framing underneath. And a third is to the side of the stairs where the floor is interrupted by the stair opening, so the load needs to be redirected around that gap to solid nearby framing. We hired a structural engineer for about $350 to answer a couple of these structural questions after Peter designed the house in a ton of detail using a program called SketchUp, which actually allowed us to tour the house in virtual reality before building it, which was really cool. Let me know in the comments if you want a video about that process. Honestly, we probably should have just bought the stair stringers. This was way too much work. Even a time lapse couldn't make this part look quick, and the worst part is it's only temporary. We're going to have to take these all off at the end to liquid nails them down. Then the plan is to use one of the flooring products they make as stair covers. We had to level the north wall a bit before starting on the floor joists for the second floor. Don't these look like stock photos? A young Asian with a laptop explains to an old-timer how the world has changed since he built his barn in 1988. Liquid nails really keeps all the decking in place and makes sure it won't creak as you walk on it. This was the first major rain we had to deal with, but luckily it didn't mess anything up too bad. The 20-foot joists had to be number 1 pine to span that distance, which means fewer knots or other flaws that weaken wood. We actually ordered a lower grade at first by accident, but luckily realized the mistake before starting. For this 20-foot span, the joists also have to be spaced 12 inches on center in order to have the strength to support the second floor safely.
The angled ones are still a little bit trouble. I have to really suggest where it wants to go using this.
Guess what? We're back to having a roof deck.
Wow! You have a roof party!
I totally dropped the ball on filming the part where we actually put in these floor joists. My bad. Here, Peter's adding blocking, which also increases the strength of the floor by tying it all together, and the decking will add more strength as well. And then Harry, perceiving an enemy spy, shot Peter's drone out of the sky. Okay, he really just pretended to shoot it out of the sky, which caused Peter to pretend to take evasive maneuvers, which caused it to crash into a tree. The good news is a little rubber cement for a broken arm, and it was good as new. So I'll still be able to include new drone footage with next week's video. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss it.